special taping of It's Happening in Grand Prairie. We're so excited to be here today with what I think and who I think is one of the most famous, important stem winders that we've ever had on It's Happening in Grand Prairie. We want to welcome today the very, very special Dr. Opal Lee. Welcome, Dr. What a great day to be here to honor this beautiful trailblazer, as you would have it. I'm Georgia Clemson, and it's my privilege to host this show. And we also have with us on the stage, we have Councilwoman Bessie Adams. Welcome, Bessie. And Bessie, I must say as well, is who made this happen in Grand Prairie. So we're so thankful to Bessie. And to my knowledge, this is the first time we've actually had a live audience. So welcome to the audience as well. And we have a very special guest as well. We have Dion, who is the granddaughter of Opal Lee. When I met Opal Lee this morning, she said, "Now, I want you to know that I'm going to be your grandmother and I can be your mother." What did you tell me? A mother from what?
Grandmother from another mother.
Oh yes, a grandmother from another mother. That was it. But what a privilege and honor to be with you today. And we got to hear some very special things through a video about Opal Lee and being the grandmother of Juneteenth and being so much more than that. Now, Dr. Lee, as you look back on all the things that you have accomplished, we know you have supernatural energy. We know you are a visionary. We know so many things. If we could just bottle up the things that you have that have made you who you are, what would you put in that? What would you put in that for us?
Well, I don't know what I'd put in it. I just know having 4 children who grew up was my greatest accomplishment.
Oh, her 4 children that grew up was her greatest accomplishment. That is very special as well. And I know many of you might have questions, and we have a couple of different questions that we have thought of about. I would say the first one that's really hard to discuss, I'm sure, for Ms. Dr. Lee, is whenever she first moved into the white community and the tragedy that happened there when her home was burned. Now, Dr. Lee, that's got to be a traumatic type memory, but tell me what good came from that.
You're not going to believe it. 1939, my parents had worked so hard and bought a house at the corner of Annish in New York and Fort Worth, 940 East Annish Street. And would you believe we were there about 5 days. We moved in around the 19th of June. And people started gathering across the street. And the paper says it was about 500 of them. The police were there. Our parents sent us to friends several blocks away. They left under cover of darkness. Those people drove the furniture out. They did despicable things. But do you know, our parents never, ever discussed it with us. Never, ever. They worked extremely hard and bought another house in the 900 block of East Terrell, not 5 blocks away.
So some good came from that, and we're just so excited that you are able to share that with us. That's an amazing story.
What you need to know is that I was a member of Habitat for Humanity, and when I knew the lot was vacant, and I went to Habitat, I asked to buy it. They wouldn't sell it to me. They gave it to me. So now I'm gonna build a house on it for sale. Habitat said no. Do you know Habitat built a house on it for me? Recently, it was fully furnished, even to food in the refrigerator. I'm a Habitat.
What a blessing, what a great story. Now, I told you earlier, it had been one of my dreams to bring Dr. Opal Lee to Grand Prairie. And we'd been working on it for at least 5 years. And we were so excited, the fact that the good Lord put Bessie in contact in the right place at the right time, and that she was able to make the contact to make this happen. So, Bessie, I know this has been a great day for you for many reasons. And I know you have questions for Dr. Lee. Would you like to ask her anything specific?
Absolutely. Let me tell you how I met this wonderful young lady. She has a K-5 fundraiser for, is it Opal Farms? And I'm all into gardening and healthy eating. And I decided, well, I don't know if they know this, but last year, 2 years ago, I registered, but I didn't go.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, they sent me the t-shirt and everything. And I was like, okay, I just wanted to support. So the second year, which was last year, I thought I'd go check it out. And I'm like, there's a farm in Fort Worth. I definitely want to see what it's all about. Get there, and I meet Miss Opal, and I meet Dion, her granddaughter. And so we started the 5K, and I'm like, I'm not running a 5K. We're just a 3K walk, the fun walk. And she said, okay, you take, do you call her Mother Dear?
Grandeur.
Grandy. She said, you take Grandy, you walk for her with her, and I'll go with the 5K. And I thought, what? You're gonna give me Dr. Opal Lee to be responsible for a girl? No. And she was like, all right, see you later. And so I was there with Miss Opal walking, and she was talking and telling me about her farm, and we would go down this little embankment and look at the farm and different vegetables that she was growing. I'd come back up, and I'm like, okay, Miss Opal, you ready to turn around? She said, no, baby, we got some more steps to make. I was tired. And she was still walking. And we walked all the way to the end, and we walked and talked, and that was one of the biggest honors I have had in my life. She is truly a grandmother to everybody. And then as we turned around and made it back, other people started gathering and talking. I felt a little jealous, but she was like, that's okay, I'll talk to you all the way down there. So I guess I had to share her, but she is such an amazing woman, and just to be on the stage with her and have her in Grand Prairie, it is just such an awesome opportunity. And I do want to shout out Dion, her granddaughter, because I bugged her. Oh, and so Miss Opal said, when we got back, hey, get her car. And I was like, oh, please come to Grand Prairie, please come to Grand Prairie. And so Dion and I have worked it out, and we got her here. So I'm so thankful for her accepting the invitation. I'm so thankful for our city willing to do what it takes and pull this together with me, because you know you can never do anything by yourself. So I do want to shout out the city of Grand Prairie, our mayor. We have city councilwoman who are representing. We have two wives from two of our other council members. John Lopez, so his wife Michelle is here. Will you wave, Michelle? And then we have Tisha, she's the wife of Tony Shotwell. Can you wave for us, Tisha? And then we also have sitting next to Tisha, Vanna Nago. Let me tell you her story. So you shouldn't have given me the mic, Georgia. She actually was chief of staff, head of staff, the important person, with Representative Chris Turner. And we swiped her. So she is now a member of the city of Grand Prairie. So we are so honored to have her on our staff and bringing all that amazing legislative insight that she has with us. So, I get in trouble calling names, so let me go back to my questions, because I'll forget somebody. So, Ms. Opal, you were 89 when you started your campaign, walking to DC. What would you say to people who think they're too old to fight for change?
You're never too old to do good. There's so much that needs to be done. We've got Juneteenth as a national holiday. I'm as proud as anybody in this room. But we can't stop there. There's still much to be done. There are too many homeless people and people who are hungry and people who don't have insurance. And this is the wealthiest country in the world. There's absolutely no reason for that to be like it is. So, I'm gonna keep on walking and talking.
I have one more question for you. If you could whisper something in the ear of every child in America, what would it be?
To the children, I would let them know that they are our future. I drill into them that at 35 years old, they could be the President of the United States, girl or boy. And so, don't let that cell phone or whatever device you have smut on it, stuff that they don't ever erase. Let them know that they have a responsibility to make this, to continue to make the United States the best country in the world. I drill it into them.
Thank you. And Dion, now the granddaughter of the grandmother of Juneteenth, and you call her Granddeer.
Granddeer.
Tell us something about Granddeer that maybe you haven't shared with anybody before.
Being her granddaughter, I know that when she came to me in 2016 and told me that she wanted to walk to DC to talk to President Obama about why it hadn't been a holiday yet in 8 years, I remember saying, Grandy, you know that's 1,440 miles, right? Oh, I'm not gonna be able to have to walk it all. He's gonna see me, he's gonna bring me up. And I remember calling my dad and saying, you know your mom wants to walk to DC. And he says, well, you're not gonna be able to stop her. I said, okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna get in trouble by making, her thought a reality. And so my grandmother thinks big, and she doesn't take no for an answer. So a no just means I haven't found a way to make it a yes yet. And so with that, that's kind of been my mode. And so we don't ever think something's too big or can't be done. We just have to find the right collaboration and the right people to help to make it done. And I think that's the one thing that I think she embodies, is that collaborating, that networking, the ability to get something done that's always good. To me, I hope that her legacy is more than being the grandmother of Juneteenth, but being the humanitarian that she's always been, even before the celebrity status reached what it is. She's always been about helping and making sure people are taken care of. And that's my, my wish for her.
That's beautiful, and I know having a granddaughter say something wonderful about you speaks to our heart, doesn't it? It really does. And speaking of nice things, I hear that you're pretty famous for a sweet potato pie.
Did she?
I know. I'm not sure where that came from. You want to tell them?
Listen, when I was a little one, and I'd want to have my meal with my mother and my dad. My mom would feed me, And then so they could have their meal together. And I worried them so till one of those times she sat me down and she fed me, and I said I had enough. She says, no, eat some more. And before it was over with, she had me across her lap and she was chugging these sweet potatoes down her throat. I do not eat yams under any circumstances.
And her mother made the best sweet potato pies, but she will not eat sweet potatoes at all. So, yeah, I think the story was that she loves sweet potatoes, but she will not eat them. I mean, her mother loved them, made great pies. Her mother made the pies, not Miss Opal.
Now we know the rest of the story. Now, Dr. Opal Lee, we know you've accomplished so many things in your lifetime, and we're so grateful for that. But as you said, you're never too old to do good. So what's the next mountain that you would like to climb?
I am wanting parents to be aware that they must take a greater interest in our children. You know, we send them to school and we want them educated and all that good stuff. And so we kind of leave it up to the schools. But it's our parents that need to be sure that the children are learning the things, because we don't need to go backward.
Right.
We're not going to, what is that saying they have now? We're going forward. We're not going back. I think that's the way it sounds. We're not going back. Because we have had some horrific things to happen. And still, things aren't where they need to be. There's still, and I've said it already, too many hungry people, too many homeless people, too many people who don't get a chance to go to school. So we have a job to do. And it's not one person's responsibility. It's our responsibility. And I'm going to keep on walking and talking and hope somebody listens.
So we keep on, and make a difference. Together. Now, Miss Bessie, we're going to be closing pretty soon. So would you have any closing remarks for us?
Well, first, Miss Opal, I just want to continue saying you are such an amazing person. You are a beacon of hope that regardless of how young or how old you are, you can make change. You can evoke change. You can talk to people to collaborate and work alongside you to make things better. And I appreciate the words, the wisdom that you've already bestowed upon us. And you're right, parents need to make sure that they're their children's first teacher and make sure that, again, a collaboration. I have a granddaughter and it's my job to spoil her. But as far as her mother, you know, she definitely, I always say she's going to be spoiled but not right. But it is important that parents make sure, and as mothers, we know what it takes, especially for young girls, to thrive in this world, not just survive, but to thrive. We have so many opportunities available to us, and we need to make sure we continue encouraging our kids. And I always talk about motherhood from a woman's standpoint, but I do want to shout out any men that you know that are taking on that role, because they too, they may not be called mothers, but they are functioning in that capacity. So we don't want to forget the men that are holding down that role for us as well. And so again, I thank Ms. Opal for joining us. I thank Dion for making sure that she got her here. We were out there waiting, calling, making sure that she knew where the epic was. We wanted her here, and she made it. And so that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. And you like, Leon, do you have a final word for us as well?
I do. Juneteenth is celebrated here in Grand Prairie. Juneteenth is celebrated across the country now. And Miss Opal, ever since she started her walk in 2016, we've made sure that we've walked, since it's been made a holiday, 2.5 miles annually. So she does it, and we're asking folks to walk with us. Now, if you can come to Fort Worth and walk with us 9 o'clock on the 19th, we would love to have you. If by chance you have family outside of the DFW area, we're asking folks to walk with us virtually, which means that they can register, get their t-shirt, and we want them to go onto social media and show the nation that Juneteenth has a support for freedom for everybody. Right, DEI has become a bad term, all right, but Juneteenth is not a DEI initiative. It is a national holiday, and it represents the freedom that all of us have to be an American. And so this year, more than any other, we are making sure that people get out and show the support. We got 1.5 million signatures on the petition, that are her online petition. And if 1.5 million people will walk this Juneteenth simultaneously with us, we'll be walking at 9. We've got folks in Los Angeles that are going to walk at 7. Chicago and Detroit are going to walk with us in Central Time. And folks are standing up branded Opal's walks across the country. And next year, when the country turns 250 years old, they've got the America 250 Commission. Miss Opal will be walking in D.C. because one of her goals is for us to celebrate freedom from the 19th of June to the 4th of July. The enslaved were not free on the 4th of July. And so one of the things that you always say is
that Juneteenth,
July 4th?
Yeah, July 4th freed the land, but Juneteenth freed the people.
So walk with us this year, next year, and our goal is that we make Juneteenth walking as synonymous with the holiday as the Macy's Day Parade is for opening up Thanksgiving, right? So that's one of the things that we're wanting the nation to see, is that Juneteenth is more than red soda water and barbecue. There's a point to it. There's a mission behind it. And as a nation, we can celebrate that freedom and that emancipation for everybody every year. So go to opalswalk.com, there we go, to register and to find out where there's a hosted walk near you or to walk virtually.
Thank you, Dion. What great words to leave us with now. Ms. Opal, would you like to say one last thing before we close?
I'm not so sure everybody knows why we celebrate Juneteenth. I'm not so sure that they know anything about a General Gordon Granger with several thousand colored troops made his way to Galveston, Texas, because the people in Galveston weren't free. And so, I'm wanting everybody to realize that freedom is for everybody. It's not a Texas thing. It's not a black thing. Again, I'm going to say freedom is for everybody.
That's right.
Don't you forget it.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. We've gotten to hear some wonderful words of wisdom, some inspiration, and we are so grateful that you have joined us today for our It's Happening in Grand Prairie segment. And I'm Georgia Clemson, reminding you that always it's happening in Grand Prairie, Texas.